Hi, my name is Michael Hughes. I am 22 years old. I am a writer and a curator and a theatre maker, and I am based in Whyalla in South Australia on Bangala country. I am reading On Burning Day, which I wrote myself. Around here, everyone had always known who was who and where was where, and what to expect us all to amount to. Those belonging to a name everyone knows will stay. They'll take over the family business, the farm, store, hotel, service station. Sons of lawyers will leave school and study, only to return. They will become lawyers in the firms with their parents and maybe their grandparents. Same for the doctors and engineers. Politicians' kids will probably get into politics and sit in the same worn chair their granddad did. Everything fits together here. Families like mine would come when the work was available and leave when the money was not. We never left. My piece belongs to another puzzle. There is a family with a shiny name who have always lived in the big house at the end of Turia Road. That one with the bay windows on the second floor. As I walked by each morning, I'd see the Notting girl with her blonde curls, and I'd imagine standing there with her and looking out over the rooftops and across town, over the river that cuts the town in half, past the United gas station on the edge of the highway and into the hills. I imagined that if I stood in the right place and looked out at the right angle, I might be able to see my house from her window as well. I wonder if she ever looked to the other end of the street where the gardens were messy and the gutters dirty. Sometimes she would catch me watching her watching the hills. I would run away, down the street, past their store on the corner of Turia Road with its tidy sign above the door, Notting's Grocer. Family run since 1944. When I walked back home at the end of the day, I'd see her in the shop, sweeping the floors or laughing as she discussed the local news with the old lady who smelled like damp curtains. I could imagine that the Notting girl might smell like the lavender soap that sat on the top shelf behind the counter. When I saw her in that store, she always looked happy. We'd shared a class since kindergarten. I'd always admired her polished shoes and the silk ribbons in her hair. Every year, her shoes were new and her ribbons bright. The Notting girl from Notting's family grocer sat at the table with other girls with last names that meant things like doctor, pharmacist, and accountant. At parties, she would drink white wine and kiss boys like Stephen, whose dad owned the building firm next door. I knew her routine. She would walk from school to the shop. She would work and clean. I would sit on the bench in the park across the road avoiding home. I would daydream about her home and the smell of lavender and cookies and ribbons and that black stuff you rub into your shoes whenever they get a bit scuffed. I knew her parents like everyone did, and thought about what might happen at family meals at their home. I dreamed that her mother might sing to herself as she put the chicken on the table. I imagined the conversations they would have as they ate together, like a family should. Perhaps I just wanted to sit with them at her side and smile with them. I'd say things like, "That was delicious, Mrs. Notting," or "Tell me more about the price of imported meat, sir," because they were the kind of family you'd call Miss and Sir. She never noticed me. Her name was Respect, and a kind of knowing of who she was and would be. I was a shadow, there 1 minute, gone the next. She's been walking ahead of me for a while now. I slip behind her as we pass the school gates. If she looked over her shoulder, she would see me, but she doesn't. She never looks back. She reaches the shop on the corner of Turia Road and opens the door. For a moment, she's out of sight. Her father sits behind the counter, frowning at something. There she is again, handling the splintered mop with familiarity. At 4:45, she's left alone. Her father leaves around this time every Thursday night so that he can make it to the 5 p.m. church meeting with time to spare for a cup of tea. He seems to glance over at me sitting at my bench across the road. Perhaps he was just looking at the river. Clear and full from the overnight rain. I watch her watching him from the door as he disappears down the street. She doesn't move until he's gone. I notice her face, how lost her eyes seem as she stares over the town and into the hills beyond. She's out of sight again. Back to cleaning the floors or stocking the shelves or something else trivially essential to her name. I want to be near her. I want to watch her fingers slip over the faded labels of the jars on the shelves. Watch her feet dance across the stone floor as she dusts the windows. I move towards her, and as I reach the window I see. She's just as I imagined. She spins through the store, her polished shoes clipping as she cleans. With an enthusiastic flick of her mop, she bumps the edge of a shelf brimming with jars. I can see jams made in her own kitchen by her mother, alongside pickled vegetables imported from the city. They rattle and shake. I watch cautiously as she hits the shelf again, with intent this time. I can't see her eyes, but I imagine them wild, with dreams of what lie beyond the hills and beyond the town. The jars rattle again. She raises the mop, gripping the base of the pole right above where the murky water drips. It puddles at her feet. She pokes at the jam sealed with love and her family seal. We both watch as one edges out of the protection of the shelf and onto the floor. It shatters. I wonder if she notices the way the congealed strawberry and plum look like blood. I guess she wouldn't. She pokes at the glass with her toe and laughs when she notices the smear on her polished shoe. I feel like I should go. Her moment of distraction feels kind of personal. As I turn to leave, so does she, and our eyes meet through the window. She sees me on the outside looking in. She sees me, but she does not see me. I see into her soul, and she sees through mine and into the world beyond. Beyond the store, beyond the river, beyond the hills. She's not so beautiful in this light. She turns away, and I can no longer see the emptiness and rage that flickers in her eyes. She goes to the counter. I catch glimpses of her as she tears down the family photographs from the walls. I can see the institutional images of her great-grandfather standing suited with his wife on his arm, outside the family store on its opening day, and a newspaper clipping I recognize. Family Fixture. The People's Grocer, it reads. Front page news only last week. She makes a pile on the floor next to the splattering of blood from her mother's preserves. I watch her, the girl I've admired from afar for so long, as she destroys everything. I wish... I don't know. She's scanning the shelves, pacing, her shoes clicking once more. She fingers a box of fire starters. The contents of the box join the pile. She disappears from sight, and when she returns, I can see a little red box in her hand. Our eyes meet again, and this time she truly sees me. I see her too, and into her, and her eyes flicker with triumph. Or perhaps they're flickering from the reflection of the match she's just struck. No longer would she be the girl from the big house at the end of Turia Road, or the girl from the family from the store. Now she was the girl from the big house at the end of Turia Road who burned down the family store. What was her name again? Thank you. And next we have Isadora, who will be reading her monologue.
Hello. Hi. I'm Isadora. I'm one of the writers from the This Was Urgent Yesterday publication. And today I'll be reading my monologue Abyss for you. I would like to acknowledge the bonding people whose line I'm currently on in Mount Gambier. And yes, this is my monologue Abyss. It's silent. The walls are closing in. I feel tense. I breathe in the sharp air. Everything's blue. If I listen closely, I can hear the terrifying screams of all the other tortured souls, begging for mercy. Oh, how I wish I was in heaven. They punish us by allowing us to look at the Golden Gate. It reminds us that we are doomed for eternity. I belong to heaven. I deserve to be in heaven. Ever since I was a kid, all I ever wanted was to walk by the fluffy clouds and have tea with the beautiful angels. But life didn't work out that way. Until now. I run my hand across the cold cemented wall. It scratches me. I breathe in and out heavily. This is my one chance. I crawl through the hallway around the big statues of Lucifer, where the cells holding the banished and unwanted souls. I observe as they plead for their life, screaming and crying, until eventually I reach it, the tunnel. I heave my body through the tunnel. An uneasy feeling overcomes me. Hot coals burn my skin, imprinting onto my hands and feet. Tears roll down my eyes. I cry out in pain. Sweat drips down my body. An overwhelming stench fills my nostrils. I push my body forwards, scraping my knees. Even from down here, I can still hear the cries of hell's other servants. I hear the pounding noise from above, the sounds of whips and hammers. I crawl faster and faster, dragging my body over all the coals. Come on, I say to myself, almost there. The walls are black as night. I'm trembling as I make my way down the hallway. Tick, tick, tick. I stop in my footsteps. The ticks get louder. I slowly turn around. Oh no, they're back. I shiver to examine the bugs. They are huge and have big, dark, dull eyes that stare into my soul. Their skin is bumpy and it cracks with each and every movement, gushing blood everywhere. The bugs are fast like the wind and have huge, spiky teeth, sharper than a blade, and to top it all off, make this intense buzzing noise before taking off and attacking. Now I run. I can hear him behind me. The buzzing gets louder and louder. I can feel my feet give out, but I can't stop. I need to do this. There's a sudden sharp pain in my left shin. One of the bugs has dug their teeth deep into my leg, tearing open my skin. As our king had attacked, his disciples soon followed, biting at every inch of my body, forcing me to the ground. I drag my body across the graveled floor, from one side of the room to the other, trying to rid myself of the bugs. Their teeth are now stuck so deep into my body that I fear they're going to chew off whole sections. I slam my hand onto the floor, producing an earthquake. The turbulence shocks the bugs, forcing them to let go. I scream, lifting my body in the process. The walls shake due to impact, ushering the bugs to run for their lives. I breathe out heavily, forcefully trying to drag my injured and limp body. I reach the room, the one thing standing in my way, the last obstacle separating me from heaven. I approach it with dread. It's cold and dark, more terrifying than any room down here. There are scattered remains of all the creatures who had come before me. Skin, flesh, claws, horns, and bones. The execution room. I stare at my reflection. Devil horns, red skin, blood, dull, and motionless eyes. I stand still, mouth gaping open. I touch my face in horror. What? Is that me? This can't be happening. This must be a lie. There is no way I'm a devil. What am I going to do now? Heaven's never going to accept me. The devil touches the horns, however, the devil in the reflection does not. I look closely, that's me. I look scarier, colder, pure evil. The other eye takes a step forward. I stare at myself. My eyes are black, pitch black. I take a step back. The other eye comes closer. Its skin is cracked and burning red. I stand opposite myself, observing in horror. Is this how everyone perceives me? A cold-hearted monster, a villain. The other eye breathes in and out heavily, flaring its nostrils, grounding its legs, and lowering its head, then proceeding to run towards me and digs its horns into my own body. I fall to the ground, my insides burning. The other eye grabs me by the horns, throwing me into the opposite wall. I feel every bone in my body break. Lucifer, I say breathlessly, why are you doing this? I gather up the energy to scream, stop it. The other eye disregards my comments, kicking and smashing me to smithereens. I wince and look through bloodshot eyes. Everything's spinning. I'm dying. There's blood everywhere. It's coming from my face, my stomach, my legs. Is this how it all ends? Was it all for nothing? The other eye kicks the back of my head. I close my eyes, bracing myself for the impact. As I lay there, I think about heaven, the sun, the soft clouds, the trees, the flowers. I think about how one day I want to have feathery wings, white as snow, larger than life. I think about having a halo. I think about finally being accepted at a place where I know I truly belong. I open my eyes and snap my left horn in half. I'm not going to let myself stop me. As I feel the other eye come in for the kill, I lunge the horn deep into its heart repetitively until I know I have killed the other eye. As it pulled the horn from out of its heart, the other eye's limp and lifeless body drops to the floor. I watch as his eyes roll back into its head. The other eye's hair is wet and has blood residue. Its rigid body lays there, scars and all. It looks like it may have been through hell. I stand over myself and look at the body that was once mine. A trail of blood drops leads to its heart. The other eye looks weak and fragile, unlike the powerful and aggressive devil from moments ago. I observe every part of I's body. I remember when that was me. I had become the very thing I was trying to run away from. I take a step back and leave the devil horn right by myself. I walk towards the escalator. It pulls me in. It's white and has a gold rail. I approach it cautiously, gently grasping the handrest and patiently waiting to be pulled upwards. Skirt. The escalator halts. I have arrived. I approach heaven's gates. I inhale and exhale. Slowly I grab the handrest, trying to open it. Automatically I feel the earth shake, catapulting me into the distance. The sound of a warrior hall can be heard. I jump back in pain. My ears feel like they're bleeding. Suddenly, a horde of warrior angels burst through the gate and shoot lightning bolts. I burn. Blackout. Thank you for listening to me speak about Abyss. Next, we have Remy. She's going to read Emma's monologue.
Hi, I'm Remy Catchlove. I'm 21 and I'm a visual artist and performer based east of the Clare Valley, and I'm currently living on the land of the Nadgeri people. I will be reading on behalf of Emma Richardson, her story, It's Not a Bad Word. Thank you. She'll be on your TV screen in a show that was filmed before you were born. She'll have red hair, not bright red like a fire truck, not an orange washed out red. It'll be a deep red, natural and beautiful. She'll play a nurse and you'll want so badly to be sick or dying just so she can come and save you, so she can hold you. You'll be 7 and you won't understand what you're feeling. All you'll know is that you shouldn't be feeling it. She's a girl and so are you. And you'll know that that isn't allowed. In movies, the boy gets the girl, the woman marries the man. It's always a mum and a dad in the TV commercials. One day, on the smallest, scrappiest piece of paper you can find, you'll write to her. I love you, it will say. Because you will. It'll be that pure, unfiltered love. The love of a little girl who doesn't quite understand what love is, but feels it anyway. You'll fold that paper. You'll fold it as tight and as small as your little fingers can manage. Then you'll hide that little piece of paper. Hide it from your mum, from the world, and from yourself. Miss Lois will feel different. You'll never be sure if it's a crush or just pure adoration. She'll be kind and gentle and never ever make you feel small. You'll always want to be near her, but you won't understand why. In maths one morning, you'll be learning about basic addition, something you'll already be good at. But still, you'll get every question wrong because you'll just need some excuse for her to be there, to be with you. You'll be teased. You'll be called a teacher's pet and a crybaby, along with a mountain of other mean words. So you'll stop. You'll sit quietly and blend in with a sea of blue shirts around you. You'll learn not to stick out. You'll learn not to want whatever it is that you want. When you're 12, all you'll want to do is disappear, to shrink into yourself and become nothing. You'll be this strange creature that doesn't think the right thoughts or like the right people, because still all you'll see is man and woman, boy and girl. What is right and what's not. One day your mum will take you to the beach. You'll go with a friend from school and his mum will bring her friends, 2 ladies that you won't know. You'll notice how close they are and you'll think how you'd never seen 2 ladies be close. On the drive home, you'll ask your mum something. Those ladies, were they friends or sisters? She'll smile. They were girlfriends. That term will blow your mind. You'd never heard a girl be called another girl's girlfriend before. You'll think, if you could have a girlfriend, if you could be someone's girlfriend, even if they weren't a boy. Back at school, you'll ride the high of this new word with all its new possibilities until you learn that the other kids have a new word too. Gay. And it'll mean bad, stupid, dumb, ugly, or all of them at once. That's gay. You'll carry that with you, that gay equals bad. It'll be ingrained so deeply in your mind that if gay equals bad, then that means I'm bad. If gay is wrong, then I'm wrong. But you'll question if you even are gay because you'll still like boys. If you liked boys but also, shamefully, liked girls too, what are you? You tear yourself apart over it. There was something worse than being gay? You'll live in misery. You'll cry in the shower and into your pillow. You won't believe in God, but you'll pray to him anyway to make you straight, to make you normal. You'll get lucky though. You'll find a little group, something to use as an escape from your self-hatred and guilt. It'll be drama and theatre and gays and friendship, and you'll finally find some happiness. There, you'll meet Anna and Ruby. Anna will be funny and sweet with an impossibly big smile. After your last performance, after the curtain call, and after party, when you finally muster up the courage to ask Anna to be your girlfriend, Ruby will get there first. You'll hate yourself for not doing it sooner, hate yourself for waiting for so long, and for being so scared to share that part of yourself with her. You'll hate that all you could think was, what if she wasn't gay? What if she laughed in my face? What if she hated me for feeling this way? What if she told Mum? You'll lose your chance. You'll have to go back to that little group of theatre kids week after week and watch as the one girl you'd put aside all your fears for cuddles up to another. Your eyes will bore into Ruby, hoping to will her away and take her place. You'll feel bad, and will for many years, for being happy that they broke up so soon after their love affair began. Somehow you'll pull the pieces of your broken heart back together and offer them to Anna, and to your absolute shock, she'll want you too. Anna will be the first girl you'll ever kiss, and it will feel different to boys. It will feel like when all you've wanted all day is an apple, and when you finally bite into one, it's sweeter and crunchier and more amazing than anything you could have imagined. It's going to be a really good kiss. That kiss, that relationship, they'll change something inside you, an idea planted in your mind that maybe this could be okay. Then you'll go to your first Pride together, and you'll see the protesters. There'll be vicious figures spitting hate into your ears, and they'll look at you with nothing but disgust. Every kiss from then will feel wrong and sour, replacing that feeling of okayness with shame. You'll break up with Anna. You won't want to, but you'll feel like you have to. You'll then go and date a boy. After you finally leave the boy that makes you feel nothing but foolishness, at an age when you'll be allowed to drive but still won't, you'll meet Jasmine. Soon after meeting, she'll text you. I like someone. Who do you like? You'll ask. That little bubble with the little dots will pop up for a moment and then disappear, a message being written and rewritten. You'll feel like every moment she takes to type is a year without breath. You'll be happy with her, a real happy. Like butterflies always in your stomach happy. Like a little kid winning a stuffed animal in one of those rigged claw machines happy. You'll learn what queer means and find comfort in the word. But at the same time, you'll still just want to disappear, because when you introduce her to your family, you'll be saying, this is my friend Jasmine, instead of this is my girlfriend Jasmine. You want them to know, want them to be happy for you, but every time you try to say it, you'll freeze, paralyzed by fear. You'll meet for dates and greet her with a kiss, but the world will worm its way in and you'll feel eyes on you, feel the disapproval. I'm not ready for another relationship, she'll tell you. She'll say she needs time to work on herself. You'll put on a smile and pretend you're okay. After Jasmine, you'll go to a party where you'll find Sierra. She won't be queer, but she'll like kissing girls when she drinks, and of course she'll be drinking and you'll be delighted. You'll slur something to your friend about wanting to kiss Sierra. She'll be pretty and dancing and wearing a low-cut top, and you couldn't not want to kiss her. It'll be yellow, her top. Your favorite shade of yellow. That shade of yellow being worn by the prettiest girl in the room. Your friend will run and share your drunken whispers, and Sierra will happily comply. You'll kiss. You'll feel like you're just another drunk teen at a party making out with someone you barely knew, but that's the plot to the shows and the movies and the songs. For once, you'll be doing what the other kids were doing. You'll feel normal. When you break apart to sip at your drinks, you'll feel the familiar sting of all eyes on you. They'll stare and cheer and laugh. You'll feel dirty and used, an unwilling player in their fantasy game. And again, you'll be reminded that you are still different, someone they tolerated, not accepted. Long after Sierra and the party that made you want to hide away forever, there'll come a day when you're surrounded by bush and unfinished roads, hours and hours from the safety of your little community, where you'll feel acceptance like you've never felt before. There'll be people just like you and people very different, but they'll all respect you. They won't see the differences, but the similarities too. They won't only see the differences, but the similarities too. You'll realize that if you can find that sense of belonging amongst the flies and dust and bad phone reception, then you could find it in your own home, inside of you. Your shame will shrink, and your love for yourself will be reborn. You'll be at home in the kitchen with your mum while she washes dishes. You'll get her attention and she'll put down the soapy mug and turn to you. You'll want to run, to say never mind, and just keep pretending. But you'll know deep down you owe it to yourself to do this. You remind yourself that it's not a bad word or a bad thing to be. You'll unfold that little piece of paper in your heart, the one so full of love, and you will finally say the words, I'm queer. Thank you so much for listening. This has been National Youth Writers Week, and we were reading, this was Urgent Yesterday. Thank you so much.